slow and steady crawl in through underpass up towards the meeting at top mid with Carson, who lies in wait and holds for aggression, which might not come his way, but Sandman is certainly exposing himself far out wide enough to where underpass has to be a worry, and somebody's got to be a hold to it. But when nobody is, it's only the jump spot, and that might not be enough.
And they just creep right out. Not even.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, that vision comes through. Maybe a nade to try and loosen a little bit of revenge in early. But you're not even going to be able to fit the key into the hole just yet. Brett is still just roping around this. Has to fight into the extremity player. And a great fight won onto Infinite. This is going to vet Vagrants to allow a little bit more information. Back to this B side where Cyrex sees all and is now going to see white. Just flicks back for a great headshot and stays alive around this missile pillar. He's got a second, and Mason, he's got that right off his back. Vagrants, they're breaking in with a great pistol early, it looks like, unless Dia's got a 1v3.
I don't know if I'm too much of a faith instiller in that, but, I mean, I've seen crazier. It would be the ace. It would have to be. He is going to need to fight his way out through these apartments and isolate the duels one after another, and very well could, but it's going to have to be a quick swing from center sight from Cyrex if he wants to help out in the first up at bat. Going to be bench player, it seems, but there it is. The shots from every direction, and Dia with too much overstimulated.
It's quite bright still early in this game, right? 2-0. Vagrants at the start of this, but now it really gets to start, right? Carson, a player that maybe I think we were a little bit surprised to see hopping onto a project like this. Sandman is going to take that fight, and Carson's got to be the one to back this up. Dia early, but that thing up top, it's soaring right to Carson's lap. Hit him straight up on the numbers. Mason and Vagrants are in a 5 versus 3, just here through 40.
Is that another COD reference?
That was a football reference.
What did the numbers mean, Mason? I thought that's what we were going for there, but both ways. You can nice little boost here from Infinite to be able to spot out the jungle player, unable to succeed once the volley had stopped him from doing so, and not being able to find even Marky under the re-swing. The re-engagement is even better than the first. Well done and handled in mid.
Yes. Yes.
A main, though, that's going to be a little bit of a different task in getting up to it with the MP9 and still being able to find the first, and Vanity not going to fall away, though. Instead, puffs up his chest, tosses back the AK. This one pretty clean, and even still, you know, they're not going to be able to retrieve that anytime soon, and he throws the wrong gun, all good. Who needs the pistol?
Not me.
This could be huge, though.
Yeah, he's about to see it. Oh, and no, was a little bit torn between those two players at the ramp. Had a guaranteed kill onto Seb, and that's at a bare minimum. The headshot does come through. Carson goes down onto Catwalk, but awkward there in T-spawn.
I'm going to give Vanity the benefit of the doubt. He's the caller. He might have been looking at his radar at that point, because I don't think anybody reacts that slow, let alone a former professional. So, again, benefit of the doubt there. Seb gets his AK. He's still no healthier than he was before, but it doesn't matter. What a kill on what's a player in the red. Leaves this 1 versus 3 very, very tongue to dry for Marky, though, as he's got to rely on the taps and can't. Vagrants are going to take one round back, after all.
And I was worried to see Dia right there on it as that smoke does bloom. Not sure the quite shot is presented. Sandman presented for a double kill, but Vanity correct on that peak this time. Galil hits him hard, and now Carson's Galil. It's going to be on the move above on the van. He does get that kill, but Cyrex was a menace back in this pistol round. That wasn't so long ago, but he's came back, and it's a little bit less exciting than he thought it was going to be. Now it's to turn it up with these couple of seconds left. It's been Infinite, the lost ingredient to this, and now he's washed him out of the pan. With 18 to go, though, they do find their way. Bomb goes down on A.
In for it, and I said that it would have to be Vanity with that up to get into a post plan and make something happen, but Vanity instead is shutting out only now Cyrex left to Catwalk with the weaponry less than ideal, and Vanity even going further beyond that for a peak wire at connector and relying on Marky if you were to need him. Just chilling back and forth between the window, awaiting his arrival from one end or another. Audio would be very much so heard if he had flown in through the window, unless he had gone through the ladder on the silent drop, but doubtful that he would take the time to do so, instead holding anybody to cross late on, and whoo, Vanity does. Low on HP, just trying to escape the bomb. And God, good lord, what are all these timings? As Cyrix misses another, he slips the gap and manages to escape with the AWP after all. Did get a little bit freaky there. That round was certainly an interesting one with a lot going in and out of the hands of both teams. One stage in it or another as the shoulder from Mason keeps him alive. Runs that jiggle. Ia, who unbeknownst to him was posted at top mid, but audibly made known now. So, getting info, having been no strangers to taking this mid control round after round, have been doing so relatively well. We've yet to see them lean into connector as heavily as they have in this moment, though. So that gives me the idea that the A split is in the cards. But Infinite is at B. Is he to sell the fake and then they make their way in and out? I'm certainly curious, given the fact that Marky just sold a little bit of a fake in towards window with a molly where his teammate is actually already perched. It's Carson.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's because they are still distracted by Mason's presence that ghosted out so long ago. Cyrex on this rifle is going to go 1-for-1. Marky, such a timely trade. But here, Brett, he's going to lie in the cut with the MP9, and he cuts deep, but not deep enough to put Vanity to sleep. He gets that bomb down with the second MP9. It's going to pepper in when it is called upon, which is right here onto the op holding Carson there, as I think it's Dia on the op, right? The 1v1 comes up, and it's the one man you didn't expect to see in the server today. His officials tomorrow. Infinite sees off against Sandman.
Walk up through con, retrieve the bomb, 10 seconds, and you know, Sandman's given him that room to work. Can plant safely. He actually goes a little bit wider, expecting him to be playing a different position than he was. I mean, Palace and
Dia and Infinite do hold on to, but we'll see how Dearly are aggressively kind of teasing this thing, as the previous clutcher, Sandman, does get back into this thing. Burdened up with Sev on this bomb site, MP9 in hand, ready to just go ahead and farm some of these props. He's out to farm some of these crops, Tony, and he's done so with 2. But finally, he is just going to be ran over with the tractor of Infinite. These wheels are on. 3 kills out of that Deagle, and now it is a 1v2. It has to get the ace, but long range versus the MP9 of Brett. It has a certain type to this. This flavor is sweet with Brett's health. Doable. Ooh.
Another chance at that one, as there was a shoulder at Catwalk and making known already that there was previously a player in market window. He's since subsided, as mentioned. Brett favoring his odds in regrouping with his teammate rather than separating, as instead of actually doing so, he's gotten back in towards market and maybe enough vision onto Infinite, who goes wider enough. Trying to reface Mason on Catwalk in a moment, but never given the chance.
That Infinite was honestly progressing pretty well, was consistently putting up awesome performances regionally with Wildcard, when Infinite was dawning with them. Came regionally in a couple lands, you couldn't really say the same, but a guy that you do hold to high regard. This is ridiculous positioning. Mason, you ought to get punished for that.
Yeah. Definitely just a little bit crazy out amidst no man's land. Now left to the floor, getting info, really looking to scrape themselves a couple of rounds here and get back into the fray, which has been a little bit of a desolate wasteland for them to be able to say so. And recently, they are actually going to be able to get their refrags, and the A site being the more successful of most. We'll see if they can actually convert this one, because they've gotten that man advantage, and it's looking pretty solid now with both of them being a catwalk. But there's be a bomb planted, and there will be post-plant positioning made available to them.
They gotta awkwardly get right off the fence here, because they're still on it with the idea of going with a retake now. Thankfully, the kit makes it an easier decision. But the incision to the 3 veteran forces that are still alive on the other side are just so threatening. And now Betting just right behind this smoke. A nade right into your court. And right now, it's a spam through, and you do catch Sandman in the end. Getting info. They get on A, and they pull out a round win.
Selected 4th. Anything further beyond that, we can start to have a conversation, you and I, Marky, about the reintroduction into this game, as it's in mid and where the spray from Mason will find his, and no one else really there from getting info to refrag or make something happen. It's because they're all in the apartment that they need to accelerate. And Marky with a flick towards Cat, worried about the back bomb site player firstly, but able on a swivel to find the 1 kill regardless. But his teammates get to make their way much deeper into the site. Eventually, Infinite will. But will it be enough?
Ooh, what is this piece over the bench smoke? Infinite gonna be cut out and Dia deleted. This is a awesome round for Mason, and we call him Mustache Mason. We love this new version. He's donning this new wand of himself. What is this mid fight he takes again? He wins it, right? The first guy that can be called into the rotation of Cat because of his ridiculous start, and they stand up well. Vagrants, they really muscle out an impressive one.
AKs from the previous round upgraded off the corpses of their opponents. They'd sent Pride on that B-bomb site falling flat with 2 rounds to go in the half. Conversion here from Vagrants to take a lead moving into their T side could be everything for them, but a timing on Mason, which actually fading into the smoke was the first and the next just as well. He will escape momentarily, but not much longer than that as the utility is well placed. Just this feet will be low to smithereens and the A site's looking susceptible.
Cyrex still here through jungle, and I'm not sure he's yet to make the contact. Now, guaranteed he does. On to Dia and has, a little bit more lifting to do, but he is just going to be shoved out to the back of the weight room because look at who's lifting large. It's Infinite in charge, and with this peek now onto Sandman, he's equipped with another clutch to go ahead and grab this 7th and has to just separate these 2 players. Nails that first headshot, and with Carson up next, he is just going to lay you on the deck, getting info.
That's too quick there is Carson. Oh my good lord! Eagle strikes down. Marky from this round as he had no chance, but a run through the molly? What are we doing inside of the A main? It's Vanity who gets a freebie, and although there's one trying to slip his way up the connector, it's all these little ratty plays that have actually come back to bite getting info, but so too the Vagrants have bit themselves in the foot, or rather shot themselves in the foot more accurately just as well.
Mason, he's on foot through T-spawn, and he is on a certain pace as well. Bomb's gonna go down. Vanity has those details through default. Dia's head turned. In the MP9, it is going to stretch up for this, likely doing the efforts necessary to get to 7, but look at this path taken by Vanity, multiple gunfights met, and right here, Infinite, he's been seen from Palace, and Cyrex, Mason, there they barely realize they win the round. A 2K out of both of these players. And one thing that has been absolutely insane is the difference between the performance of Cyrex and Dia in our first half. Those are their players that we quite literally compared 1-to-1, have previously met each other in LAN Grand Finals, right? Carson potentially peeking there. You do see that shoulder right through, but it was Badass Gaming & Co. that did end up winning that at Fragacago all the way before, which was particularly interesting over there. Actually, I'm gonna have to recheck up if Dia was actually in that, but they were in that Fragadelphia final just after that the next year in that semi. There, Brett and Mason, they are just gonna run you over like a semi. 2 headshots that are massive. Carson still has the backup here. Bomb will go down, and this thing is still a dogfight.
Yeah, good lord, it certainly is, and firing off close and personal now they'll have to get with T's because they're playing such a distant game to where it'll be Vanity heard and spotting one in underpass, so that's a pretty good piece for them to have now to work with, and a 1-tap from Vanity who's on one. He's gotten them an absolute perfect place to maybe defuse the stick with 1 player dedicated to each of the angles, and Vanity and Carson unite. Both of them a kill apiece from that point forward. Marky reliable only for sticking his nose on that bomb.
Different playbook. Throw that in the trash. It's a new page. You start out here with the cancellation of the force. It was not even too big upon that damage. 3 alive for getting info, but now you're going to scrape along, and there's some upgraded pistols that have your name on it. Vagrants, they're not going to exactly throw an empty pass at this at all. Just try and squeeze the juice out of every single round.
Smoke a molly, 2 flashbangs. Going to be a little bit of a pop. You can see that they're in B apps. 1 towards top mid, maybe to go out late if they get some success. That's going to be the first step in doing so, Marky, though. They're going to need to kill at least one of these guys. Room to cook, because in already the apartments is Infinite, and this should just be a mop-up. It's going to be the Galil to be able to find not
goodness.
1, not 2, not 3. Instead, it'll be the Quadra and the Ace with 1 bullet. Infinite, seemingly with infinite amounts of ammo to be able to find these guys as he 1-taps the both of them to finish. Yeah, that's actually a good point that you make there. I didn't really think about that. But, you know, still building into the storyline of the dynamic duo, he and Sandman putting up numbers. Able to play this one pretty comfortably. Dia with a pick over top side of the smoke. That's all well and good, but losing Carson to Mason doing the exact same on the rifle makes it a little bit more worrisome. It's the split now, still 2-2, that you have to feel more pressured as getting info.
actually behind this. It's the full occupation of A that is just going to come, but this is no man's land that they are in. The free space is yet to be taken. Getting info, they now know that they're going to have to walk back up on this ladder. Flash comes over. You're going to try and jar onto these fights. But look at how this smoke comes down on the top of Connector and the hammer on the head of Vanity. Mason is still here and can look to just abuse this position, but Sandman does instead. Marky right back into the mix. They have not let up on any jungle oxygen because right there, it's just been lifted out of the will of Sandman. Here still fighting uphill. And a 2 versus 4, Tony, do they really have a shot back in?
Mason was being a smoke menace all around. 2 of the kills that they had got were off the back of that, but when Vision is there, when it's a fair duel, when it's a 1 versus 1, it doesn't seem that getting info can falter. And how have they slipped back into this round? Marky and Infinite. It's that chemistry that can't be beat. Just going to be a little bit of a walk up towards the site even still, though, from Vagrants, going low and slow and letting one player at the bottom of Khan and the other at the top of Cat work things out. But once Vanity finds that pick, if he's allowed to escape, we're having problems.
Hasn't gotten all the way out yet, Mason. Holding him dead to right, but what a swing out of it. Thrashes like a shark in the water. And right here, Seb that can try and get out, but he is treading within this, actually finding his way through. But no bomb on the back, gonna have to just travel through this hellhole to get this thing back on his back. Dia would take a crack back on his head, and no timing is gonna find himself, but it's getting info. They just roll up on Mirage, and they're smoking him out.
All that 10.
Just back on those Tech 9s, thankfully, not back into the will of Infinite. They haven't gone back to B ever since then. Carson closes open this smoke. It's a little late just for bomb plans, so Seb, he wants to try and pull this one through, but Infinite with a great shot onto Mason there, who was trying to get dirty there into CT, but that nade just disgusting. Oh, a little bit of a fumble there, right off the snap, but it's Seb that gets that down. 2 kills there out of that Tech 9. Seb goes nuclear, but now it's Marky that has just been automatic. Smoke, Molotov into CT as he sets the swing up, slams it down right here, and you just sense Brett like the Predator, as right here, Brett that looks to be the prey, but how does he stand up today? It's with this spam, and he is right on target. Vagrants, they've just get this T-site out.
Now, it's all the more prevalent. You can see what the double up setup has done to getting info, because now they can't even afford 1, and they can't even afford further beyond that. Head armor on Carson, Infinite, and Marky to afford them utility, to which that A1S of Brett might have something to say, but Seb is going to have his actions speak a little bit louder than words with the opening pick.
Yeah, this has been quite a terror from Seb. Last 4 rounds, this is a guy that you don't want to see get red hot. Could be to beat, I mean, to fulfill that expectation that we put in the pregame, right? This is their man that they need to step up. This is a requirement for Vagrants to work like the machine that they are. Oh, and it's Marky on that other side, and after that jump spot, antsy off it, knows there's something creeping up in the way, and it's just going to be Marky to intercept all this. Mason and co are going to be turning those tides up on Cat, but the slap will come down. 1 minute to go with this, but you remember just how annoying Cyrex was in a spot like this. Dishes out punishment, and that's towards E-Box. They can't find Marky. He gets 2 right there, and it's chaotic with 45 seconds to go, but it is still a 2 versus 3, but it's Vanity and Dia who dares to try and get back in this, and a nade to blow him off the charts.
That was absolutely heat-seeking from Dia. Lands right to the feet. The man center sight, the planter dealt with and done, but Dia's wrapped around. The nade came from there, and he's made the absolute perfect decision to catch off the hopper and leave Sandman amidst healers to crawl towards Cat, but Dia's done literally everything in that retake with decision-making in moments like that can't be beat.
But, oh my gosh, I mean, 2 just devastating rounds that Vagrants have gotten in this second half. I'm not sure you're going to be able to recover that with how small the margin for error there is on a map like Mirage.
Goes Dia turning from the flash and dropping now as the smoke is there to blow it, to swing and see if there's anyone close, if there's anybody home, as Mason turns from his teammate's flash that was supposed to help him. Instead, leaves him entirely vulnerable to the Russian sniper who posts up now for anyone wider at top mid later on. They just might give him that opportunity in a few moments. First and foremost, to make his move, canceling that jump, has actually been locked out.
Quite literally goes deeper through T-spawn. Not sure he's going to grab all too much from this. Carson Looks to re-peek back in at the right time. Big jump down and very nice headshot.
Basically gifting that one to Sandman is Brett by making himself audible. Maybe he thought he had a timing to swing out into mid. Well, get info, as that's going to be the name of the game and the joke to be made. Marky, line of sight on the mid, seeing as there was nobody really holding all too heavily onto him. There was no utility being put down actively. It was the molly that came after that duel that was seemingly simultaneously being activated. But Vanity, speaking of activation, will soon be given his, as it's everybody else who's got to get close enough to make that even worth his while to walk out, though.
Seb, that just was a criminal in CT. How does he rob the same store twice? They up the security, so you'll be fine. 2 versus 2 on that. But management still in this spell. It's Vanity that has the back door unlocked and the headshot onto Sarah. It's been Vanity. He's been in so many of these clutch handling situations with Sandman on the other side. Out of options, Tony. Maybe out of steam. It's 12 for getting info first.
Yeah, it was going to be a really hard ask, to be honest, from CT Spawn anyways. Sandman put in that spot, as you say, just so many a time before. And Dia with a molly towards Ticket. There was still room to swing behind, but the smoke and the flash behind that felt like there were so many layers that could very well have come back to bite anything that they wanted. Having only let one round slip to the T side of Vagrants at this point. Feel pretty good, pretty decent, but, you know, talk about that next map of Anubis. That's going to be the supposed comfort zone for the Vagrants. It's something that Fluffy Abrams and the team I like watching on it, but again, the same exact thing. Mason walking up through that cat smoke, turning himself with attention to the flash, to not be blinded, catches a Dia shot to the shoulder, and it's easy enough. On his walk through the smoke, though, from the caller, finds the opposer, and still a man down. Feels like he has to do more, and he'd be right.
And it's Marky that just lies down upon him. Needed a double there out of Brett, but, I mean, easier said than done. There were 2 rounds in this thing that were just so hard to get right out. That double effort for Marky and Infinite on this A post plant. You remember, I almost called you Vincent. On this A side, and then Dia's effort on B as he tries to get in there with that shot. But, I mean, this is just a ridiculous thing to come back from, even with 40 seconds left in a round like
Seb
this.
Trade
Need a
with
second
Infinite.
kill. Okay, and this is weird. You should just bring it down on him. Knife anyone? Practically feels like a stab in the chest anyway. Maybe that dagger does come through then, Tony, on that Mirage. Either way, it's getting info to put their map pick away. That's all fine and dandy and probably what we expected. But, you know, for the Vagrants to come in and really...
Maybe.
Probably exactly what happened.
Yeah, I think so. Big ol' wall. Player up at Heaven's side, and Brett and Marky seems to be one out by the ladder.
Oh,
Cyrus
wow.
still to swing around the pillar. It's double. That should be enough to give them reasonable retake potential. Sandman pushing even further beyond that in a main and pulling himself back, knowing when to hold his cards and when to fold them.
Right here, it's shuffling within this deck in A main. Glock still out in a really important headshot found here by Infinite, but he has got to just answer the call right now. A tap onto the bomb, and Infinite, he's just got to play around. Hasn't even had an official peek. Now it's just met up with Mason here, top of the bowl. Mason got to get this one down. He finishes the job. Vagrants, they start off both maps with a pistol round victory. The respect and to become how strong it is as advertised. The Tech9s, and see if the game plan from Vanity, right? This is a map that Bro hasn't even played when he was playing Valorant. And we'll see if he can call him. Marky, though. Oh, Mac 10. That is one of those aggressive fights that, one early and Seb by himself, but this was the back into it, and they're just going to be melted down by Carson on the way back. At least Sandman going to just drag one body out of this, but the kill on time. A is all the way out wide. It is open and ready for getting info to make this thing 1-1. It practically is. You should not try and get these guns anywhere near those players. You need them dear.
Said they had to look to maximize their money for this round. This is not that. This is giving money over to Marky, giving him not only the SMG kill reward, but also further kill reward beyond that, and an M4. He's going to be pretty happy with what he's just chefed up. And again, you said that you got to keep these guns a little bit distant from getting info, and that's definitely true, but they keep getting closer and closer regardless of that fact. And although Sandman has now taken a distance, it's Brett who wants more exits. It's Brett who wants to get more done. they can drop over a weapon from Brett. He stay alive, but there's a player wrapping around through spawn to which Sandman's going to have to hold on to. There's Infinite by his other side, so this is going to be a hard ask to save. Sandman might find his and then fall out. Within seconds of the ends of the round, finds one more kill, but it's really nothing to write home about. Lurk spoke, excuse me, at B main. Sandman's rifle trying to play around the pistol as best as he can to make himself the most useful he can be. Gives a smoke over to the IGL. Will recycle it over towards the box. Maybe looking to be maybe showing a little bit more than they actually have, but he's not really taking the bait all that much. He's going to fight in towards B main to find the first, the rifle to fall, but pistol to trade out evenly, but only evenly for a moment's notice, as A was the final point of entry. Is Vanity with a triple. Carson's there to finish up and clean. Anybody else looking to maybe have a couple of guns, pull them away. Infinites was available, but doesn't actually go in for it. It's Carson who looked to hunt, but didn't really need to go that far. Everybody else is a pretty soft target across the board. Marky's the only one who's not going to be affected by it, but as we go deeper into it, Carson flying up into a main, an off-spawn call, and off the rip to get in, and up close and personal. He'll be in a moment with Mason, who's not ready for him to be there. Neither two will the Heaven player, but Seb will get the better of him, but has to fall out.
That's exactly perfectly illustrated how slippery this slope on the A bomb site can be. Boxed out, it's even Seb that is this anchor player, right? Mason gets that contact in through camera and absolutely just washed out by the Mac 10 of Carson. We'll see if it's that ferocious when this pitch does come back out of his hand. It's just been stopped up here, chopped on the block. Marky with one, and you do try and bleed this out. Brett and co, they are going to be very deep into this. Tia with this team kill, and it very well cost them. Sandman to hop on this bomb. Vagrants, they bloody knuckle their way back into this Anubis CT side.
Yeah, if he was able to get away towards A main after that last kill on the player dropping towards the site. Marky's the kind of guy to do it last minute, though.
Just like me.
He usually gets it done pretty well, so the times that he does it, we'll have to wait and see, because right now they're cooking up something decent on the split to where Vanity can turn his attention back to find the frag, as there's one left to the water, and well and truly heard. Marky gets the B+, and he'll take it. Looking to go even further beyond that, though, in the resubmission, but maybe a little bit too far past the deadline. Is there why the two bodies left in the bridge to where Vanity had done so much work for them to say that they had control of it, and losing even another further beyond that. Cyrex the unkillable at this point, and Infinite was over towards B-main the whole time waiting for something to happen.
Was called upon for a nice clutch, a time or two inside of that first map up from Raj, but here with the 1v3, 22 seconds left to track right down, and this M4 is damn dangerous out of the hands of Cyrex. Vagrants, they go huge there. They survive with 3 as they put on 3, and this scope is now into the hands of Cyrex as he's warming up at a tie game.
Full control of the outer rims of B-main by his team, who don't really see a need to support him in any way, as he can fend for himself, tossing out smoke to maybe these B players into sticking around and about, and now tossing out reactionary utility on other extremities, catching themselves off guard with often middle of nowhere, and Seb in the back pillar can't fire off more than a couple of bullets, and Marky managed to make this one a nice little slip up. I don't know how the Vagrants have let this one slide.
They blow the hinges off their rusty cage there. That smoke is no threat to them. Similarly, a daunting task that is going to be just rifled in here through Game Ender. Vanity is just going to be struck out there on that timing. Bite the peach bites back. Marky immediately gets that trade right through on the spam, and Vagrants, with a whiff of an idea, are just hammered out for how just tenuous it was. Marky can be in through this. Poor Mason. Poor timing. Brett and rewinding. It's 4 alive for Marky, who has just gone huge. A 4K for the man himself, getting info. They cannot be stopped on this Anubis. They just bounce right back from every one of these Vagrant rounds, and that's why they reset them. I don't think I think I like cheated in Minecraft. That's like with me and my friends to troll them. Yeah.
I cheated in Minecraft. I didn't do like the force field. I did like the mining pack. Like see the diamonds before and stuff.
Absolutely.
But
Key should be thrown away.
Talk
Throw
about
away
it in a
the key,
second.
too.
Hold on. I'll talk about it in a second. Carson's going to walk out in the mid and just take one clean and easy. Mason not really ready for them to be walking up by that stage. And even further beyond that, running it through W key in. The A split is here. Seb, he's going to have to do something massive. One player without a gun in his hand. He's going to be able to deal damage, but Dia gets around the pillar in time to keep himself in question. Very well done there, but ended even calling for a flash from a teammate to set up on the A main swing beyond. Really well done in general, and you know, the pace that they take is something huge. My dad was very big on the idea of cheating being wrong in general. Like he used to get really upset with me, literally for like doing the Lego Star Wars cheats.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I mean, it did look so pristine on that CT side at times, but I know that here's this flash right out towards B before we do get this back up with one player actually looking to stay, but Cyrix does come back. I imagine that with the limited time you have on a team like this, right? I know some of these personalities, you know, I know Mason a little bit personally, and I mean, similarly to me, I may be a little frustrated, right? 1-9 with the game currently going like this. It's going to be hard to try and drive back in here with kills that do come down at the end, right? If you can just keep your cool and understand that, oh, a 7-5 isn't going to be too bad, but there's reality slapping you right back across the face.
Oh, yeah, but hold on. Look at this. Carson's got a little bit of a pincer maneuver he might be able to work out on if his teammate can get up in mid. Carson now looking to unite. Formerly of Nouns both, actually. At the same time. At some point in time. Now, only the man on a mission who had done so very well on Mirage. But a different task on Anubis, perhaps, with Sandman being the only one with a rifle. He's in the right place at the right time with a good action to drag up.
Former general manager of United, one Matthew Potoff Burns, came and like spoke at the college.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, we do work and live in a legitimate business, Dia with a legitimate flick. I got to speak to him about their past ventures, as I don't believe he's continuing with, or he works for a different company. He's no longer with United, but I mean, we even spoke about Marky during our conversation. I spoke to him with him like, you signed some great guys, Freakazoid, Marky. He's like, yeah, these are names that I'd love to see still competing, but unfortunately the brand not there. Live long, United.
Boom, off there from Mason, not Cyrix getting it done as Marky's barely even seen as he enters in towards the site. Not able to get across the line of Mason, who hasn't really been in there all that much in this map, but certainly turning up where he's needed. But do they even go for this one? So far is Sandman expecting it maybe to be the reroute, but speaking of reroutes, it's Mason through to heaven. Tried to make his way back through the beach. Clear that out with no one in, with nobody making a sneaky play. It's the barrel seen and spotted. If Mason can do no more, it's Sandman to a 1 versus 3 to close out onto the half. I simply don't really feel it, as it would need to be kill after kill with already less than 20 seconds on the timer, and he can't get it through. 2 shots from Mason, not enough. And frankly, 4 rounds on the CT side.
Well, set the stage for it. This one will be quite a show, as it's Marky's turn to enter in backstage here. Just on this jargon, it's Marky that's decapitated before the full street occupation is met in the canals. It's Infinite that will just stay there. Dia, Carson, how do they just split this thing up? It is a 2v2 and just has to swap to it. It's Seb that tracks him down. Vagrants, they know how important it is to hold on to that pistol round, and they hold on to it tight. I mean, it's still a really big problem here with Carson. If you don't give him the respect he deserves, and I don't really think the problem is you here. I think Carson may just get caught on a timing. He gets all the way back, and look at how they're just hitting into him now. Clean out of the cut here by Mason. If Infinite can get a second, and that's going to go ahead and be just fine, right? They're barreling through a Molotov to go ahead and just get through that territory. Bomb going to go down, and Seb has even got Vanity creeping in here. He sees that elbow right out next to him. That's not Dia, so it's Marky right to cut. I would say it's Dia's next priority to save out of this round, and I mean, we certainly have an Anubis about this. Vagrants, they brought this thing all the way back, and it's because of that 8-4. It's because they kept this thing afloat on their defense.
That's what was
I mean, I suppose
suppose
it's, well, I be crouch spraying with the MP9, actually, now that I think about it, but, as it stops me, Never.
You jump and crouch, are you more accurate than...
Now that's a freaky question, but he can't land the freaky spray. Mason does get close to it, but it's Vagrants that are uprooted with the play. It is Vanity with IGL violence onto Brett, decked out of it. But it's only 2 versus 3. And right here, it's going to be a 1 versus 3, and Cyrex just takes down his opping counterpart here, and he knows what's got to be lying in E-Box. Something is up with that smoke just to cover. Bomb is going to be fully into this thing as Cyrex peers on the left side of the smoke, exposed, and Infinite has got that in the lead back for getting info as well.
Not really wavering in their hold of that, knowing what might not be going on around the other sides of the map. Cyrex was one and not able to get out of the way. Vanity's rushed down mid and posted up his Dia, ready for his fallback. A great 1-2 punch with only 1 sacrifice. Carson will be more than happy, giving the chance over to his team to potentially sweep away a round win. Waiting the next arrival of a repeat later on, as he'd already found his kill earlier in the round. What? The double zoom and literally a split-second shot to follow it, locked onto Brett. Good googly moogly, man. Seb is the last that leads them to double digits, and he'll be flattened. Infinite still top side of the board, tied with Dia, who's putting in his best efforts, and both of them doing the walk and the talk as they get loud, and that reservoir of cash that I was speaking about has been drained. Right out from beneath them, the pools have been absolutely sapped, in a tactical timeout for Vagrants, realizing that they might be upon some of their final investments in general for this map if they can't pull it together, as Sandman has an AK. It brings a new layer to calling to the North American scene at this level that's pretty interesting to see unfold. Vagrants have put up a decent enough fight, but just still not yet enough of one to walk it over the line, but this might be the round where they can do it.
Ridiculous positioning. Vanity clears everything out of this, and Carson and Infinite, they can be screamed to perk up their ears, be ready for anything that can really come over this hill. Mason on the other side of the hedge is just going to get lifted. Oh, it's Carson that drifts right into the lane, and it is Brett that is slain. That is a huge frag that is found here. As right now, it is the clock of Cyrex that looks to strike here onto that A player. I thought that push may have already came out. It looks like getting info wanted a piece of the pie, but still waiting for their slice.
He can't die. We need him alive at A main, and he knows that much. He goes all the way back to the center of the site. He didn't get an upgrade, but his teammates had, as Carson's double affords him the AK-47 to hold is the next up and in. It doesn't really matter that he was low. It's a headshot from Sandman to not equalize, but certainly give them a fighting chance. And the towards A main are going to have to make good off of that.
Man, Vanity's sitting where he is, ready to go.
No!
Botched. This is going to be tough to try and just slay in the lane with MP9s are your threats. And right here, it is your neck that is snapped just quickly towards Zay. Maybe not so humane through the shots of Infinite, but he knows that he likes it bloody, and that's why he came into sub today. Darty, I'm sure, watches along and is satisfied with his team's performance. Absolutely. I mean, going into what was the void there with 30 seconds to go is safely a recipe for disaster. At the start of this round, maybe it's Vanity that gets off on this. Another quick play that is maybe getting off, maybe as not damage as I thought it was going to be from that Vagrant side. Either way, if it's not here through A, it's through somewhere else. And if it's not directly through the barrel of Vanity, then it may be Carson. It's been Marky, the highest rated player throughout this series. I don't have those stats in front of me, but you feel that. And it's actually Cyrex that goes down on his own margin. Awkward up the stretch, getting info. They battle through, haven't lost a map yet on HLTV officials. Didn't drop a single hint, a single crumb within our Swiss stage. Now they are still perfect. 2-0 in our round of 16. They're going to be headed to the quarterfinals and looking intimidating while doing it.